Hi there, I'm Muhammad Ahmad Hamdan and this is Nightline, news making the headlines. Malaysia is poised to exceed its national growth target in 2024 under the Madani Economic Framework. And government to review national strategy to combat double burden of child malnutrition. Good morning. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim has arrived in the Laotian capital to attend the 44th and 45th ASEAN summits and related summits. His aircraft landed at Watai International Airport at 8:37 p.m. local time or 9:37 p.m. Malaysian time. He was welcomed upon arrival by Laos's Agriculture and Forestry Minister Lim Kam Duang Savan and Director General of the Diplomatic Services Bureau Vilatson Visonenavong. Also present were Foreign Minister Datuk Seri Muhammad Hassan, Foreign Ministry Secretary General Datuk Seri Amran Muhammad Zin and Malaysia's Ambassador to Laos, Edi Irwan Mahmud. Aside from the ASEAN summits, the Prime Minister will attend the +1 summits between ASEAN and 7 dialogue partners, namely Australia, China, Japan, India, South Korea, United States and Canada respectively, as well as the ASEAN +3 Summit, East Asia Summit and ASEAN United Nations Summit. Additionally, the Prime Minister will attend the Asia Zero Emission Community Leaders Meeting and ASEAN Leaders Interface sessions with representatives of the ASEAN Interparliamentary Assembly, ASEAN Business Advisory Council and ASEAN Youth. Other ASEAN leaders and dialogue partners, including Chinese Premier Li Qiang and United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken, are also expected to attend the summits. Malaysia is poised to exceed its national growth target this year on the back of sound fiscal policies and ongoing commitment to reforms under the Madani Economic Framework. Second Finance Minister Datuk Seri Amir Hamzah Azizan highlighted that the country's economic transformation is gathering momentum despite facing challenges such as political polarization, a widening socio-economic gap and ongoing geopolitical tensions. In his closing remarks at Khazanah Megatrends Forum KMF 2024 on Tuesday, Amir Hamzah stated that Malaysia is on track to exceed the national growth target of 4 to 5% in 2024. He noted that plans under the Madani Economic Framework are seeing evident signs of progress, with the second quarter gross domestic product GDP growing 5.9%. This is supported by a steady recovery in key sectors like construction, manufacturing, services and tourism. In addition, the strong performance in both foreign and domestic direct investments reflects growing investor confidence. Amir Hamzah added, on the back of positive macroeconomic indicators, the upcoming 2025 budget can focus on continuing sound fiscal policies for economic resilience and people-centric initiatives to ensure no one is left behind.
By getting the GLICs to heighten their focus on domestic investments, this deployed capital can benefit Malaysians equitably and birth new economic ecosystems, similar to the possible solutions discussed at KMF. Their investments are designed not only to foster sustainable growth, but also to raise both the ceiling and the floor for Malaysians.
During his speech, Amir Hamzah also highlighted the performance of the local bourse, which hit an all-time high in market capitalization of over 2 trillion ringgit in June this year, underscoring the resilience of domestic equities despite global uncertainties. He also pointed out that the ringgit has continued to outperform regional currencies, appreciating 12.5% against the greenback since February this year. Meanwhile, the World Bank Group has upgraded Malaysia's economic growth forecast to 4.9% in 2024 from its initial 4.3% forecast set in April.
So what explains this turnaround? Well, it's both domestic factors and external factors. Let's take external factors. The global economy is doing much better than we had expected just 6 months ago.
The revised growth projection was contributed by the positive economic momentum, rising political stability, and an increasingly conducive policy environment that boosts and mobilizes more investments. The national unemployment rate has also returned to pre-pandemic levels of 3.3% in the second quarter of 2024. Poverty is also being eliminated, with only 0.2% of households now living below the poverty line. The World Bank also projects that Malaysia will achieve high-income nation status by 2028, or even a year earlier if the ringgit's performance remains at its current level. Moving on, the Prime Minister has directed the Health and Education Ministries to examine the double burden of malnutrition among children. Unity Government spokesman Fahmi Fazil said Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim raised the matter during the Cabinet meeting on Tuesday and wants action to be taken before the National Strategic Plan to combat the problem is announced in the near future.
Hari ini Jemaah Menteri ada menerima laporan terkini mengenai usaha-usaha dan juga plan strategik, tapi ada beberapa perkara yang telah diminta oleh Yang Berhormat Perdana Menteri untuk diteliti sebelum pengumuman penuh mengenai plan strategik kebangsaan memerangi masalah beban berganda malpemakanan di kalangan kanak-kanak. Hari ini
He added that this was a very important issue that was close to the heart of the Prime Minister. As such, it is hoped that there will be some positive developments in managing the issue by the time the Parliament session resumes. Previously, Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi expressed the government's commitment towards taking immediate action to combat the double burden of malnutrition among children. The initiative also involves preschool, primary school and lower secondary school students across the country. As the chairman of the special committee, he said the action requires cooperation across various ministries and agencies. Meanwhile, court orders have been issued, placing 662 children rescued from care homes linked to Global Ikhwan Services and Business Holdings, GISBH, under the protection of the Social Welfare Department, JKM. Fahmi stated that the Cabinet was informed of the latest development by Women, Family and Community Development Minister Datuk Seri Nancy Shukri.
Kesemua 662 kanak-kanak yang telah diselamatkan melalui beberapa operasi yang telah berjalan kini telah mendapat perintah mahkamah untuk perlindungan.
Fahmi, who is also the Communications Minister, told reporters that no other matters related to GISBH were discussed, including about the fatwa issued by several states, declaring that the group promotes deviant teachings. However, the public can refer to fatwa statements from several mufti, confirming that these teachings were deviant and un-Islamic. GISBH has been in the spotlight for alleged criminal acts, including child abuse, sexual assault, exploitation, human trafficking and cult-like practices. Perlis was the first state to declare GISBH as deviant, followed by Selangor and Pahang, after determining that elements in the group's beliefs and practices are a continuation of the cult-like teachings of the banned Al-Arqam movement. Aurora Mulia Sdn Bhd, which is fully owned by Tan Sri Said Mokhtar Al-Buhari, is still the largest shareholder of integrated media group, Media Prima Berhad. The group clarified on Tuesday that Aurora Mulia had not sold all of its shares in Media Prima, contrary to reports that it had disposed of its 31.9% stake, or 353.82 million shares, to an undisclosed buyer. In a statement on Tuesday, Media Prima said that the group made 3 announcements to Bursa Malaysia regarding the cessation of Sutera Bhakti Sdn Bhd, Trade Winds Group Malaysia Sdn Bhd and Restu Jernih Sdn Bhd as indirect substantial shareholders on Monday. This change is related to their deemed interest in Aurora as specified under Section 139 of the Companies Act. It added that these updates pertain to the shareholding structure in relation to the cessation of these entities' substantial shareholding status. However, the group stated that the announcement was regrettably misunderstood to imply that Aurora Mulia and, indirectly, Tan Sri Said Mokhtar have ceased to be substantial shareholder of the company. The company also emphasized that this clarification is intended to ensure complete transparency and address any potential misinterpretation arising from the aforementioned announcement to Bursa Malaysia on Monday. Aurora Mulia emerged as a substantial shareholder in Media Prima when it acquired the 31.9% stake in October 2019. A drug smuggling syndicate using the port of Tanjung Pelepas, Gelang Patah as a transit point has been dismantled by the State Customs Department earlier this month, just 5 months after a similar bust in May. With a similar modus operandi of hiding the suspected cocaine in the air-conditioned space of a container, the team from the department's narcotics branch has achieved the largest seizure of the year, weighing 60.2 kilograms with an estimated value of 12.05 million ringgit. Johor Customs Director Aminul Izmir Muhammad Sohaimi said a refrigerated container declared to contain fresh frozen shrimp was seized based on information from the Southern Zone Intelligence Branch during the raid on October 1st at the port's container terminal. However, a thorough inspection of the container uncovered 62 rectangular plastic packages hidden in the air conditioning compartment. Further examination of one of the packages found white powder believed to be cocaine. He noted that the container from India had docked for 2 to 3 days at the port and was believed to be headed for Miami, USA. The case is being investigated under Section 39B(1)(a) of the Dangerous Drugs Act, and further investigations are ongoing, including collaboration with international enforcement agencies. And in Selangor, police have busted a ketum processing and distribution syndicate operating as a landscaping company in raids conducted in Sungai Buloh. State Police Chief Datuk Hussein Omar Han said 4 men aged between 21 and 42, including the syndicate's mastermind, were arrested when police raided 2 houses in Kampung Melayu, Sungai Buloh last Thursday. In the operation, police seized 1,100 bottles of ketum juice and 41 cartons of contraband cigarettes, all valued at 17,500 ringgit. 2 of the suspects are locals, including the owner of the landscaping company, while the other 2 are foreigners working at the premises. Investigations revealed that the syndicate obtained ketum leaves from a supplier in Perak and had been processing ketum juice since 2021, with large-scale operations beginning earlier this year. It is believed that the syndicate could process and sell 500 bottles of the illegal substance within 2 to 4 days, earning up to 20,000 ringgit per month from the activity. All of the suspects have been remanded for 7 days until October 10th to facilitate investigations under the Poisons Act and Customs Act. Hezbollah hits Israel with biggest rocket attack. This and more from the Foreign Front when we return.
Segalanya pasti dia miliki, bahkan cinta.
Bawakan cinta pertama dan terakhir saya.
Perkahwinan dibina tanpa keikhlasan, penuh kepuraan.
Malah saya benci awak!
Rasa iri menguasai, menjadi cala cinta. Mulai 9 Oktober, Isnin hingga Khamis 10 malam. Terbaru di Samarinda TV3 dan stream juga melalui Tonton.
Wanita hari ini.
Ada apa yang 40? Orang kata life begins at 40.
Okey, makanan apa yang ada sepanjang tahun?
Awak nak tahu? Awak nak tahu? Nantikan Selasa ini.
Dalam hidup ni kadang-kadang akan ada rasa nak berputus asa.
Alah, janganlah macam tu. Tak kiralah apa saja dugaan yang datang, kita kena bangkit.
Okey, cyst. Adakah ianya berbahaya?
Nantikan kupasannya Khamis ini.
Ada pasangan kan? Kat depan lain, kat belakang lain.
Alamak, betul-betul topeng ke?
Semuanya di WHI TV3
dan stream di Tonton.
Semua fan club dah sedia ke nak tengok artis kegemaran anda menang trofi ABPBH 36 secara langsung? Rebut tiket anda di www.tonton.com.my sebab tempat duduk sangatlah terhad. Tak sabarnya anugerah bintang popular berita harian 36. Untuk maklumat lanjut, layari www.tonton.com.my. ABPBH 36 eksklusif di TV3 dan boleh juga stream melalui Tonton. Teguh, kita bersama.
Onto the foreign front, Hezbollah on Tuesday said the group's capabilities were intact and its fighters were pushing back Israeli ground incursions despite the painful blows inflicted by the Zionist regime in recent weeks. Its deputy chief Naim Qasim said this as Iran has provided clear and well-known support for the resistance in Palestine, Lebanon and the region.
أنا أحب أن أطمئنكم إمكاناتنا بخير وما قاله العدو عن أنه طال إمكاناتنا وهم. هؤلاء هم يريدون إبادة كل من يقف في وجههم، كل من يقول بأن لنا حقوق. هؤلاء يريدون إخضاع كل المحيط من الدول والشعوب لسياساتهم ولأوامرهم. هذا أمر لن يحصل.
Qasim added that the group supported the efforts of Parliament Speaker Nabi Berri, a Hezbollah ally, to secure a ceasefire without providing further details on any conditions demanded by Hezbollah. Meanwhile, Iran warned that while the nation does not seek conflict, it is fully prepared for war should the Zionist regime choose to test Tehran's will. Its Foreign Minister Abbas Arashi emphasized that any attack on Iranian infrastructure would provoke a swift and strong response. Tensions between the two nations have escalated since Iran launched a missile barrage at Israel last week. Now, Hezbollah has fired its biggest yet rocket barrage at the northern Israel as the group's remaining leadership promises more attacks. It was reported that 105 projectiles had been fired at the Zionist regime in an hour as the northern city of Haifa and Galilee was struck. While interception attempts were made, details on the number of rockets shot down were still under investigation. Although no injuries have been reported, some rockets and shrapnel hit Israel, causing significant damage. Hezbollah declared that the group will continue to extend its rocket fire deeper into Israel, displacing even more Israelis. Earlier, the Zionist regime piled more pressure on Hezbollah, claiming that they have killed Hezbollah commander Suhail Hussein Husseini in a strike in the area of Beirut. Meanwhile, dozens of Palestinians have been killed in the Zionist regime strikes on northern and central Gaza as the besieged territory marks the grisly anniversary of the start of Israel's war. According to officials, at least 30 people, including 6 children and 2 women, were killed near the central city of Deir al-Balah overnight after houses in the Al-Bureij refugee camp were struck by the Israeli forces. In the northern part of the besieged enclave, it was reported that 27 people, including armed Palestinian fighters, were killed during an attack on the Jabalia refugee camp. The Israeli army has placed Jabalia under siege for several days while intensifying its attacks on northern Gaza to a level not seen in months. The casualties brought the overall death toll to 41,965, with 97,590 others injured. The Category 4 Hurricane Milton is expected to grow larger on Tuesday as it threatened Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula on its way to Florida, where more than a million people were ordered to evacuate from its path. According to officials, the storm, with maximum sustained winds of 250 kilometers per hour, is predicted to hit the heavily populated city of Tampa Bay with full force on Wednesday. With winds this intense, Milton could generate an ocean surge that could inundate the hardest hit areas with 10 to 15 feet of water, resulting in extensive damage and potentially costing billions of dollars. Governor Ron DeSantis has declared 51 of Florida's 67 counties under a state of emergency and urged the people to evacuate the area as soon as possible to avoid any casualties. Djokovic returns to winning form. Sports right after this breather.
Seorang wanita dan adik lelaki dihadapkan ke Mahkamah Magistrate Kajang atas pertuduhan bersama membunuh suaminya yang buta demi harta.
suspek utama telah ambil tukul tu, kau pukul dia dekat kepala.
Rasa fikir baliklah benda ayah semua buat untuk dia, tapi dia boleh buat pula macam ni dekat ayah.
Tonton ada banyak drama dan filem Korea terbaik. Muat turun aplikasi tonton sekarang. Layan upah sampai pagi.
Situasi semakin tegang.
Ini adalah peluang terbaik untuk kita melakukan tangkapan.
Medan operasi unit gerak khas kini berhadapan dengan cabaran tidak terduga.
Dia sebenarnya adalah mastermind sedikit.
Mereka cuba untuk menutup kegiatan haram mereka.
Gerak khas The Finale setiap Ahad 11.30 pagi di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Buletin.
Welcome back. Sports now. The 2024 Squash Open New York Classic. National squash player Rachel Arnold survived a marathon battle against Hong Kong's Chun Sin-yuk to reach the quarterfinals of the $50,000 tournament on Monday. The country's number 2 overcame Sin-yuk in a thrilling 47-minute contest, winning 9-11, 12-10, 4-11, 11-6, 11-6. With the victory, world number 29 Rachel is set to face England's 6th seed Katie Molly for a spot in the semi-finals. However, it was the end of the road for two other Malaysians, Aina Amani as well as Adin Idraki. Aina was beaten 6-11, 9-11, 6-11 by Egypt's 5th seed Mariam Metwali, while Adin was shown the exit by American Shahjahan Khan 7-11, 11-13, 11-8, 11-13 in the first round. Turning to tennis, the 2024 Shanghai Masters, Novak Djokovic easily beat Flavio Cobolli in straight sets to advance to the last 16 on Tuesday, leaving a tremendous sense of dominance. The four-time champion dominated the Italian without mercy, calmly showcasing his top-level performance in just an hour, winning 6-1, 6-2. The Serbian will next face Roman Safiulin for a spot in the quarterfinals. Earlier, Bulgaria's Grigor Dimitrov secured a convincing 7-6, 6-2 victory over Australia's 20th-ranked Alexei Popyrin after just 88 minutes on court. Up next for the world number 10 is Czech's Jakub Mensik. Joining them was American Taylor Fritz. The 7th seed did not face any hurdle to advance to the last 16 after he easily defeated Japanese qualifier Yosuke Watanuki 6-3, 6-4 in just 76 minutes. Waiting for Fritz in the pre-quarters will be Dane Holger Rune. Still on tennis, the 2024 Wuhan Open, Mira Andreeva advanced to the second round after securing a straight sets victory against Wang Ziyu on Tuesday. The 17-year-old breezed past Chinese wildcard Wang Ziyu 7-6, 6-3 without losing her serve throughout the match. The Russian will face the lucky loser Erika Andreeva in the second round. Kazakh Yulia Putintseva downed Chinese veteran Zhang Shui in straight sets, winning 6-4, 6-4 to advance to the second round. Up next for Putintseva is Croatia's Donna Venkic. Death sentence remained for Sosilawati's murderers. The details when we come back.
Kau suka cahaya?
Suka? Aku pun gilakan cahaya.
I belum bersedia lagi.
Sekarang ni kita bersaing secara sihat. Yang selebihnya kita serahkan kepada takdir. Selesai.
Terima kasih.
Sama. Tak jadi tak apa. Yang penting kita hormat keputusan dia.
Hai Cinta, dengarkanlah setiap Isnin hingga Jumaat 7 malam di Akasia TV3.
Menarik di MHI sepanjang minggu.
Kadar kemalangan melibatkan kenderaan berat semakin meningkat. Di mana silapnya?
Jawab.
Itulah seronok sangat menyanyi. Suara dan peti suara pun kena jaga tau.
Awak jangan main-main. Saya bawa pengawal peribadi saya baru awak tahu. Tapi zaman sekarang ni penting ke ada pengawal peribadi?
Dan Khamis, wajarkah subsidi pendidikan untuk anak golongan kaya dihentikan?
Jagaan Belanjawan 2025 dalam soal wang.
MSI Isnin hingga Jumaat hanya di TV3
dan stream ditonton.
Siapa bintang paling popular ABPBH tahun ni?
Saksikan kami sebagai hos Anugerah Bintang Popular Berita Harian 36.
11 Oktober, Jumaat, 9 malam, eksklusif di TV3 dan stream juga melalui tonton.
Teguh kita bersama.
Rasuah membinasakan negara. Integriti tiada harga yang setara. Rasuah, musuh kepercayaan dan keadilan. Bersama Tan Sri Azam Baki, Ketua Pesuruhjaya Suruhanjaya Pencegahan Rasuah Malaysia SPRM. Soal Rakyat Sabtu ini di TV3.
Welcome back. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC has arrested 2 individuals, including one with a Datuk title, suspected of being involved in the smuggling of subsidised diesel in Sibu, Sarawak. The 2 suspects, a man and a woman in their 60s, were believed to have bribed officials of an enforcement agency in return for not taking legal action against the company they worked for, which is believed to have misappropriated subsidised diesel. According to a source, the suspects are the chairman and director of a company that manages the purchase and sale of subsidised diesel. They are suspected of embezzling subsidised diesel fuel by smuggling and selling it to external parties and are believed to have given bribes to several enforcement officials to cover up the activity. Meanwhile, MACC's Special Operations Division Senior Director Azmi Kamaruzaman confirmed the arrest of the suspects and said the case is being investigated under Section 16 of the MACC Act. He said the 2 suspects were, however, released on MACC bail of 50,000 ringgit in cash and 50,000 ringgit without deposit in one surety. And lastly, the federal court has upheld the death sentences of former lawyer N. Pathmanaban and his former farmhand for the murders of cosmetic millionaire Sosilawati Lawiya and 3 others in 2010. This after the 3-judge panel led by Chief Justice Tun Tengku Maimun Tuan Mat unanimously rejected the applications submitted by the appellants to review their death sentences. Tengku Maimun said that the bench had dismissed the duo's application after considering the case's facts and evidence, thus maintaining the death sentence. The applications were filed by Pathmanaban, aged 55, and 33-year-old T. Tilayalagan in an attempt to have their death sentences commuted to imprisonment following the Mandatory Death Penalty Abolition Act, which took effect on July 4th last year. Another former farmhand, 44-year-old R. Katavarayan, withdrew his application to review the death sentence. The trio were convicted by the Shah Alam High Court in May 2013 for killing Sosilawati, bank officer Nur Hisham Muhammad, lawyer Ahmad Kamil Abdul Karim, and Sosilawati's driver Kamaruddin Shamsuddin. The murders took place at Lot 2001 Jalan Tanjung Layang, Tanjung Sepat in Banting between 8:30 p.m. and 9:45 p.m. on August 30th, 2010. Their appeals were dismissed by the Court of Appeal and Federal Court on December 4th, 2015 and March 16th, 2017, respectively. Meanwhile, Sosilawati's eldest daughter, Datin Rita Sosilawati, welcomed the court's decision.
Alhamdulillah dan sangat-sangat bersyukur kepada Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. Saya sebagai menghormati penerima keputusan mahkamah hari ini dengan hati yang terbuka dan saya rasa keputusan ini adalah suatu keadilan kepada kami dan juga kepada keluarga mangsa-mangsa yang lain. So yang ini memang kita harapkan dan kita dapatlah apa yang kita harapkan.
wraps up this edition of Nightline. We leave you visuals of 42 teams participating in Catalonia's largest human towers contest, showcasing their strength, coordination and intricate formations to clinch the title. With that, I'm Muhammad Amhamdan. Thanks for watching and stay safe, Malaysia.